Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to Bring You the Vision video. What I guys today is the ultimate God mode build. Now in my recommendation, I would only use this in the Dark Zone, legendary missions, incursions, anything like that. I wouldn't really recommend using this in Last Stand. I don't know why, whenever I use this in Last Stand, I always get folded, so maybe it's just me, maybe you guys can try it out, maybe you guys will like it. But as I said, legendary missions, incursions, and the Dark Zone is where this build shines. Anyways, what this build pretty much consists of is a 4-piece Tactician, a rapid chest piece, and an inventive backpack. Your main purpose while using this build is to pretty much keep your teammates alive. If they need a heal, if they need to get picked up, your job is to do them. And like I said, if you want to play something a little bit different with like a different playstyle, I know I normally run a damage build or sometimes like a kind of balanced out build. But if you want to change your roles around and just have your teammates do the work and you just pretty much heal them and keep them alive, this is the build you should go for. And I'll be quite honest with you guys, it's pretty fun. If you guys never used a medic build, I would recommend using this out because it just kind of changes the playstyle for you and it's something a bit different. So starting off with the abilities first, we are going to go over what I'm using. I'm actually using Overdose. Since I do have a rapid chest piece, I want to use something that gives my teammates a overshield. So the Overdose is really good. I do heal my teammates for 183,000, which to some people may seem like it's kind of low. But whenever someone is almost one shot or if they're like half health and I heal them, they always go max health, which is pretty insane. And I also get my first aid in 14.40 seconds. As for my secondary ability, I'm using the life support station. This one's really good, especially if you're doing like legendary missions or incursions and you always get lit up by the NPCs and you go down or your teammates go down. You don't really have to worry about picking each other up, especially if you're in like a close circle, like close together. If you put the support station down, it picks them up, which is really nice. And my support station is actually pretty good. It heals my teammates for about 15,000 health per second. And I also get it back in 9.40 seconds. So even if it gets destroyed, even if I, accidentally cancel it or whatever, I get it back in less than 7 seconds, which is really good as well. For the talents, what I'm using is very simple. I do have Triage. Triage is really important if you're using a medic because obviously you're going to be healing people and you want to get your skills as fast as possible. I'm also using Strike Back. Now this is only kind of for me, I would say. If I'm really low on health and I want to get my first aid really quickly, I could just 20% decrease while at low health is really helpful. And I'm also using Combat Medic. This is once again really good. If you're by your teammates, you're one shot, whatever, use a medkit, it heals all your team. And lastly, I'm using Tech Support. I find this really useful, especially if I'm using the support station. What it does is kill a hostile while any skill is deployed to extend any active skill's duration by 10%. So if I have my support station down and I kill someone, it increases the life of it by 10%, which is very helpful as well. Moving into the main build, this is what I'm using. So I'm going to go over my weapon first. The weapons really don't matter that much. You're not going to be really doing that much damage anyways, but if you want to go with something like a lightweight M4 or a LVOC, in my opinion that's your best choice. But what I'm using is the lightweight M4 with Competent, Unforgiving, and Fierce. As you guys can see, Unforgiving is locked unfortunately, but I still have Fierce and Competent, which is really good because my skills are pretty much going to be active all the time. So using Competent is really helpful, and then obviously Fierce for the critical hit chance. As for the secondary, I would recommend using a sniper rifle 100% because although you're not going to be doing a lot of damage, if you're fighting NPCs and you just, if it's a boss or whatever and you want to kill them quick as possible, you want to use something like a marksman rifle because although your firearms are only about 3,000, you're still going to be doing a lot of damage. And if your team needs help killing a certain boss or anything like that, using a marksman rifle is your best choice. As for the weapon mod, you can stack in whatever you like. I stacked into headshot damage because my body damage is going to be really low. So I do want to focus on headshot damage and just do as much damage as I possibly can. Moving on to the gear, I'm going to go over the high ends first. So what I'm using first is the rapid chest piece. Obviously it decreases your healing skills, so that's exactly what you want. In my opinion, you could go with something like a vigorous chest also if you want. But the thing is, you have to use booster shot or defibrillator as your first aid instead of overdose. I also have skill haze on a health, ammo capacity, and a really nice electronics mod. And for all the gear mods, I'm using skill haze / electronics, which is what you want because you want 50% skill haze. Next up, we're going to go over the backpack. I'm using the inventive backpack. It's really good. You're always going to be pretty much max health because how strong your overdose is. So getting your skill power increased by 15% is really helpful. I'm also having a skill power roll on it with electronics and also burn resistance. Moving into the 4-piece Tactician, what I'm using on the mask is skill power, damage to elite, and electronics once again. For the knee pads, I do have skill power, electronics again with disorienting resistance, shock resistance, and blind death resistance. The only thing I wish I had was probably like damage to elite on these knee pads. For the gloves, we do have enemy armor damage, critical hit damage, and skill haze with a 1269 electronics roll. The only thing that could be better on these gloves are assault rifle damage or SMG damage instead of enemy armor damage. But it is what it is, I'll take them, they're still pretty good. And lastly, for the holster, we do have a 1242 firearms, 1269 stamina, and 1246 electronics roll with 7% skill haze on this holster. So that is pretty much my build. I'm going to show you guys the character stats as well. So the primary thing I want to show you guys is the skill haze. As you guys can see, it is at 50%. And that's something you definitely want if you're using a medic build, or even if you're using like Seeker Mines or whatever. You always want your skill haze to be maxed out because, you know, obviously if it's maxed out, you're going to get them really quick. And that is really, really good for that specific build. Also, my health is pretty low. It's only 171,000. But that doesn't really matter. I use this for legendary missions all the time. I hardly go down because my support station is really good. My overdose is really good as well. So having a little bit less health isn't really that big of a issue. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to show you guys. Also, my weapon damage is pretty low as well. But that is really okay. It's not a damage build or anything like that. So that is pretty much it for the video. Let me know if you guys tried this out and how you guys like it. Like I said, it's something a little bit different if you always use a damage build, if you always use a certain type of build, and you switch to like a Tactician healer build or Seeker Mines. It's always a bit refreshing to change up the game for yourself whenever you use it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next